All right, now that we've finished setting up all of our models and relationships, it's time to connect our application to a real database. For this tutorial, we'll be using Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, also known as SSMS. Inside SSMS, open the Object Explorer panel on the left, right-click on the Databases folder, and choose New Database. In the dialog box that appears, let's give our database a name. We'll call it Book Review App. You can use any name you want, but make sure it matches the name you'll use later inside your code. Once you've typed the name, click OK, and SQL Server will create your new database instantly. You should now see Book Review App appear under the Databases list, and that's where all of our tables and relationships will be created later when we connect it to our Web API using Entity Framework Core. Now that we've created our database in SQL Server, let's connect it to Visual Studio so we can manage it directly from our development environment. Now, head over to Visual Studio, open the SQL Server Object Explorer window. You can find it under the View menu if it's not already visible. In the Object Explorer, click the Add SQL Server button. In the panel that appears on the right, paste the server name you copied earlier from SSMS. Then, select the authentication method. For most setups, you can use Windows Authentication, and from the drop-down, select the database we just created, which is Book Review App. Finally, click Connect, and Visual Studio will link directly to your SQL Server database. You'll now see your Book Review App database appear inside Visual Studio, and from here, we'll be able to create tables, run queries, and connect it to our Web API. Now that our SQL Server database is ready, let's connect it to our Web API using a connection string. A connection string is basically a short line of text that tells our application where the database is and how to connect to it. Inside Visual Studio, open the file named appsettings.json. This is where we store our configuration settings. Let's add a new section at the top called Connection Strings, and inside it, let's define one for our Book Review App. Once that's added, save the file. This connection string will later be used by Entity Framework Core to connect our models and automatically generate the database tables. Now that we've added our connection string, it's time to install Entity Framework Core, which will help us connect our models to the database. Entity Framework, or EF Core, is Microsoft's ORM. That stands for Object Relational Mapper. It basically lets us interact with the database using C# classes instead of writing SQL manually. To install it, go to Tools, NuGet Package Manager, Manage NuGet Packages for Solution. In the Browse tab, search for Entity Framework Core SQL Server. This package allows Entity Framework to talk directly with SQL Server. Once that's done, install one more package, Entity Framework Core Design. The design package gives us extra tools for running migrations and managing our database structure from Visual Studio. After both packages are installed, you'll notice that new references have been added under your project's Dependencies folder. And that means Entity Framework Core is now ready to use in our Web API. Now that we've installed Entity Framework Core, it's time to create the class that will actually connect our code to the database. Inside our project, let's create a new folder and name it Data. This folder will contain everything related to our data access, including the database context class that talks directly to SQL Server. Inside the Data folder, let's add a new class and name it Data Context. This class will inherit from DB Context, which is the base class in Entity Framework used to represent a database session. What we're doing here is defining our DB sets. Each DB set represents a table in our database. So, for example, books will become a table called Books, authors will become Authors, and so on for all of our models. In other words, we're telling Entity Framework, these are all the tables we want you to create and manage for us. This Data Context class is the bridge that connects our C# models to the SQL Server database we created earlier. Now that we've defined all our DB sets, let's talk quickly about something important inside Entity Framework called onModel Creating. Inside our data context, we can override a method called onModel Creating. This method allows us to customize how Entity Framework builds our tables and relationships. For example, EF Core automatically detects relationships based on the navigation properties we defined in our models, like the one-to-many link between book and review, or the many-to-many links between book and author. But sometimes we need to fine-tune that configuration manually. In this example, we're telling Entity Framework that both book author and book category tables should use a composite key, combining two columns, the book ID and the author, or category ID. We use this because these are linking tables in many-to-many relationships. Even though EF Core can sometimes detect this automatically, it's always a good habit to define composite keys manually when you're working with join tables. So think of on-model creating as the place where you can precisely control how your database gets built. Now that we've created our data context and added our connection string, it's time to connect everything together inside our program file. This is the step where we tell our application to use Entity Framework Core and point it to the database we created earlier. Let's open the program file. Inside the Service Configuration section, right after Builder Services Add Controllers, let's add the following code. What we're doing here is registering our data context. The Use SQL Server part tells Entity Framework that we're using Microsoft SQL Server as our database provider. Now that our database is connected, let's add some initial data to it. This process is called seeding. Inside our project, let's create a new class and name it seed.cs. The seed class will be responsible for populating our database with some starting data. Things like sample books, authors, categories, and reviews. I've already written a full seed script for you. You can find it on my GitHub repository. The link is in the description below. Go ahead and copy everything from that file and paste it inside your seed.cs class. This will give us a ready-to-use setup that automatically fills the database the first time we run the app. Once you've added the class, we need to tell our application to inject it into the dependency container so we can call it during startup. Let's open the program file again, and inside the service registration section, add a transient. Add transient means that every time the application requests a seed instance, it will create a new one, which is perfect for setup or initialization logic. Later, we'll call this class inside the program file so that it can populate our database automatically when the API starts. And just like that, our seeding system is ready to go. Now that we've connected our project to the database, the next step is to set up our migrations. Inside Visual Studio, open the Package Manager console, and we're going to run the command add migration initial create. This command tells Entity Framework to generate all the database tables based on our models. Sometimes you might run into a few errors during this step, and that's totally normal. Don't worry, we'll go through them together and fix everything step by step. Awesome! Once the command finishes running, you'll notice a new folder has been created automatically inside your project. It's called Migrations. This folder contains your very first migration, named Initial Create. Inside it, you'll find all the C# code that Entity Framework generated based on your models. This is what EF Core will use to build your database tables. So basically, each migration represents a snapshot of your data model at a specific point in time. Now that our migration has been created successfully, let's update our database. Inside the Package Manager console, type the command Update Database and press Enter. This command will take all the migration code that Entity Framework generated and apply it directly to our SQL Server database, creating all the tables and relationships we defined in our models. Once it's done, our database will be fully in sync with our project. Entity Framework just created the Book Review App database and automatically generated all the tables based on our models, including books, authors, reviews, categories, and more. Now, if we open SQL Server Management Studio or the SQL Server Object Explorer in Visual Studio, we can actually see all those tables inside our database. That's it. Our database is now fully synchronized with our application.